The battle for the future. It all comes down to this. Orchis versus X-Men. Winner, take the future. Orchis has pushed mutant kind to their lowest point ever, but that just means the X-Men have had to fight back like never before. Will it be enough? We continue to barrel toward the conclusion of the Krakoan age as the two stories that are one come to an end. Fall of the House of X, Volume 1, Issue 5. This will be the battle against Nimrod, the X-Men mutants' final confrontation. Orchis has been brought to its knees and Sentinel City has been destroyed, but Nimrod has run the battle simulations a million times over. He has played the scenario in ones and zeros every single time and knows the outcome. This is the day that somebody dies. This war began, as they always do, with provisions of the truth. The Orchis protocols were enacted when Krakoa was announced to the world. They were meant to combat the so-called mutant supremacy. Right now, they're winning the battle to save the life on Earth. The machines had shifted off the planet, building a weapon to burn away Earth's atmosphere. Fortunately, the X-Men have brought a sword. A deal has been struck between Mr. Sinister and Fei Long. The X-Men have driven Sword City into Sentinel City, destroying it. Nimrod has run this protocol thousands of times and knows this just means more suffering for humanity and the mutants. Nimrod has multiple bodies fighting the X-Men in various locations. We start with Nimrod versus Wolverine, who is getting punched hard and having his flesh ripped out. Wolverine is taking a beating. Even with Sentinel City destroyed, Nimrod knows he will win. Remember, Nimrod is in multiple places with multiple bodies fighting all over the place. From New York City to Washington, D.C., the Nimrods work as one unit fighting against Wolverine. In another location, Emma Frost is battling Nimrod. Elsewhere, Polaris is joined by Magneto. Magneto says, "I underestimated you once. I will not do it again. Are you ready, Lauren?" With tears in her eyes, Polaris sees her father return from battle and replies, "Always." As they prepare for the attack, Sync uses the power of Sunfire to try and soften up Nimrod, while Emma Frost tries to knock his armor loose. As they fight against Nimrod, cannot understand why they continue. In his mind, he won this battle months ago. As we pick up with Nightcrawler and Cyclops, they emerge from the wreckage of Sentinel City. Nightcrawler has a teleportation plan to save Colossus, who has hit so hard by Nimrod that he was sent into outer space and kept going. Barely able to see him, Nightcrawler teleports to save Colossus. Cyclops then says, "Nimrod, you want it to end? Start with me." Nimrod replies, "With pleasure, mutant." Meanwhile, when we pick up with Omega Sentinel, her party is being crashed by Rogue and Psylocke. With Omega Sentinel so focused on Rogue, she never saw Psylocke coming from behind. Psylocke uses her dagger, piercing through the mind of the machine. She thought this would destroy the AI, leaving only what was once human. Rogue was about to stomp on Omega Sentinel's head to kill her, but Psylocke said, "Don't. I fried the Sentinel mind. Her human brain is drowning in regret and pain. She's already in hell." Rogue says, "Let's go back to the party." For a moment, it seemed that the tide has turned, but Nimrod was one step ahead. The machine ejected Colossus into space to draw Nightcrawler away from sabotaging the station. The artificial intelligence had fought and won this war billions of times in war games that only existed in ones and zeros. Nimrod never stopped playing war games. He killed billions of souls in his mind. Every time there was only one X-Men left standing after all the others had fallen. This was always a trap. Nimrod had planned to send Colossus into space to get Nightcrawler away, then take care of Psylocke and Rogue, and finally eliminate Colossus and any other X-Men in his way. But every single time, there was always one X-Men left standing. Less simulation and more reality. The end was near. Cyclops was that one mutant, mega mutant, the last one standing. Cyclops' gift had the ability to crack Nimrod's armor, but the machine knew it. The mutants weren't the only ones evolving. Nimrod taunted, "You are the toughest of them all. I'll give you that. I don't know if there is a next life for you, but I promise if there is, I will follow." Cyclops blasted Nimrod with an optic beam, but Nimrod anticipated it and grabbed Cyclops by the throat. As we see each of Nimrod's holding on to one of the X-Men, Sync, Emma Frost, Polaris, Magneto, and of course Cyclops. Nimrod is getting ready to break their necks, and simultaneously, Nimrod says, "Any last words?" Cyclops responds, "She won't let you kill me." Nimrod replies, "Is this more about your dead wife? No, allow me to introduce you to Storm. As the goddess enters the picture, declaring there will be no more death, bringing forth her immense Omega-level power. Nimrod, having calculated billion scenarios, never anticipated the last X-Men standing would embody such humanity. He understands Storm's return, assuming she was either dead or out of the picture. If possible, she has become an even stronger Omega-level mutant. This affects every one of the duplicate Nimrods, a flaw he did not perceive. Being able to exist and think across vast distances requires a lot of data and power. This is something that Storm manipulated and exploited. All the Nimrods are currently feeling that electrical flow through their body, disabling them, but they have yet to fully go down. So this is where Polaris and Magneto use their powers to help the goddess as Storm prepares to put down Nimrod. Storm is trying to show some kind of mercy. She says, Nimrod, if you are ever destined to be more than what you've programmed to be, then you will flee from the X-Men or you will die today. What you choose next will decide your fate. Nimrod chooses the battle as Cyclops cuts off the beam meant for Storm. Storm says, if you stop fighting, the war ends. If we stop fighting, we die. As lightning comes down, Cyclops uses an optic blast to crack open Nimrod again. This time, Storm throws a bolt of lightning into the crack. All of the Nimrods feel that lightning bolt inside them. The electrical flow through their body disables them, but they have yet to fully go down. Sync reaches out to grab the power of Storm and use it against Nimrod. Magneto and Polaris create a magnetic field enhancing the Storm's power. The combined force of the lightning and the Storm wipes out all the Nimrod's duplicates, including those hidden away from combat. Nimrod's last words are, "You vermin will follow me into the abyss." Storm says, if you should find yourself wandering back into this life, I suggest you shun death and explore light and love. Omega Sentinel was taken over by the AI, but now she is human again. Cyclops will give her a second chance. Her name is Karima. With the battle being won, X-Men gather everyone together and prepare to leave. Manifold. He asked the universe to open up and teleport them all away. Nimrod had completely subjugated Orchis, and without Nimrod, the Iron Man Sentinels do not exist. They fall from the sky. Orchis is dead. Xavier is a living ghost in the halls. As Xavier sees what has happened, he says, "Good for you, Scott. I never doubted you." Shadowcat breaks down the door and Mrs. Marvel wants to go, but Kitty Pryde is suspicious. Charles Xavier has a long history of making people see what he wanted or not see what he wanted. He is hunted for the destruction of Frigate Agnew, but nobody knows the truth yet, and Xavier is not ready for his game to be over. Something is wrong. Manifold. Teleport does not know where they are as Manifold. He looks up, he sees his big brother Latuka. Latuka took them away from the threat that is currently happening, the threat of Enigma. If Enigma looks in the direction, the only thing they will see is the void of the cosmos. Latuka saved them. They are in good hands with Latuka. Latuka says the universe is on the precipice. Scott Summers, it's your heart that could tip the scales away from death. Orchis is destroyed. Omega Sentinels has been changed. Nimrod and all its duplicates and backups have been deleted. They won. The heroes returned to Krakoa. Thanks to Apocalypse, the island was in hibernation, but will now welcome all of the energies. Before they go off to celebrate, Scott takes a moment. Cyclops takes a minute. Jean, we did it. All we could. We smashed Orchis. We broke everything, big and small. Once again, everything we've been through, the lives, the deaths. We need you to rise again. It always goes back to Nathaniel Essex. He's out there threatening to end us all, but I give you my heart, Jean. Let love save us. I know you can't reply, but I believe you can hear me. Come back and bring the fire. The next battle, Phoenix, Jean Grey versus the Enigma. Stay tuned for Rise of the Powers of X, Volume 1, Issue 5, and the epic new start in Uncanny X-Men Legacy 700.